You are now tuned in to Coffee Talk on LE Radio. Serving you up some new flavor, fresh out of ATL. Where the vibes prevail, the convo's held between a scale of 1 to 10 exceeds 1,000. But do you feel me? Go ahead and get your cups ready as we pour into your mind, slow and steady. You may need a full cup for this. CoffeeTV.com. We got raw and adulterated conversations, live, provocative entertainment, new flavor in your ear from my podcast, talk show radio. Watch us live online in the studio. Tell a friend, tell them you come to. Never know what's in store with the whole crew. Cause we got you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. This is your girl, Lady Poetry, here on Poetic Soul Artistry. So, I know it's been a minute since you see me, but we're back, and I have an amazing show for you tonight. Really excited about this show. So just to kind of course, as we always do, come through. So make sure you definitely tune in to coffeetalkradio.com. Go on there, look at everything out there. We have all our different shows as well as go through. Make sure you join the social media site as well, because that way you'll be able to stay on top of everything that is Coffee Talk, be it the Poetic Soul Artistry, the ATL Mix, Coffee Talk Radio, like all of that, you'll be able to stay tuned there. Okay? So just to kind of go through our schedule again. So on Thursdays, we have Coffee Talk Radio. And that is going to be me and Don coming to you in the evening just to kind of sit there, talk with you. We have different topics talking about everything from politics to relationship do's and don'ts, interview topics, all of those things. And then on Friday, you have us here, me, with the Poetic Soul Artistry, starting your evening off and then following up by ATL Mix, which are like 3 to 4 girls like on here just talking they shit, doing their thing. I love it. I love that show. So definitely make sure you stay tuned for that next Friday when they come back. And then on Saturday, the best way to kind of start your weekend is to go to the hood healer herself, the hood doctor. I love it. So Ami Brown's Random Acts of Healing. So definitely make sure you stay tuned to all of that. So we're going to get into Poetic Soul Artistry tonight. So the topic for tonight is the art of storytelling, or rap, as we know it. As a lot of people who know me personally, those of you who don't, like when I tell you music and poetry are like the 2 biggest main things in my life. So all the time, every time, it is either one or the other. So basically, what we want to talk about tonight is the art of that. Like the poet, not just the poet, but how kind of like rap started and originated, how it was before and what is kind of morphed into now, and kind of see that progression. And who better to have that conversation with than somebody who was basically there on the ground and was just like journaling, like reporting all of it, and was there to kind of see the progression of where we started into where we are now. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce this amazing person. She's actually with Holter Intellectual Properties. So she's definitely the queen bee in this thing. And also the founder, like when I tell you I'm going to let her run down her resume and list. Most of y'all already know, but like when I tell you everything, all that in the bag of chips, as they used to say, Miss Jessica Holter. So she's going to be coming on here. And we're just going to get into this conversation again about the art of storytelling and rap. So if we have her on. Yay!
Hi.
Hello. So excited to have you on the show.
I'm glad to be here. I was supposed to do, I have to apologize because I forgot I was doing like something on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a call or something.
Oh,
I was trying to figure it out.
Trying to do the room?
Yeah, but I don't really know how to do it.
Oh, okay,
so,
yeah.
I don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
On this Facebook thing, I have no idea. It's supposed to be right here.
Oh, so yeah. So you have the room. So you hit join. and then you can share the link, and then you can just pop your phone up if you want to. Just kind of share it out with whoever if you want to. But it's already started, so the room is already started. So if you want to call different people to put them in the room or invite them in. Oh, okay, go through.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing.
Go back. There you go. So join the room again.
Okay.
So now you're in the room now. So hit done.
Done.
Yeah, hit done.
Okay, so we're on?
Yeah.
And we can turn it this way?
Yeah, you can turn it. So everybody
I think I'm doing this right. Oh, no, that is not right.
Please wait for your friends to join or call and let them know that you are here. So you can go ahead and make sure that they're in the breath. There you go.
Okay. Here we are.
Hey.
Now back up. There. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Brittany.
I'm so excited to have you.
You guys are doing such a great job.
I'm excited.
I've been watching and paying attention to the show as it's been progressing and everything, and I just think it's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are covering hot topics, even though YouTube blocked that one show.
Yeah, they kind of got us. Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna be back. I'm gonna
try to adjust this.
No. Yes.
I do not know what I'm doing.
We'll have to make sure we have it queued up.
I should have one of those things. You could go ahead and talk to me though.
Yeah, so tonight's show, like we had discussed before, everybody, we're actually broadcasting from Myrtle Beach. So you'll see this lovely decor. It's not my house. This is not mine. We are in Myrtle Beach and kind of like enjoying the scenery, getting the creativity, creating content, talking about future projects and everything like that, which we will discuss a little later on in the show. But tonight, the topic that I wanted to do, or we kind of wanted to talk about, was about the art of storytelling, because poetry, there's a lot of storytelling. You are an amazing storyteller with all the books, like Verbal Penetration, and just everything. Your entire career is stories. So that, and then we got into rap as well, because I thought, and I was proven wrong today, that rap stood for rhythm and poetry, but that's actually not the case.
No.
So
you kind of got to be older to really know this, to remember this, because I know things progress very quickly. People have short memories, especially now, because like we're being trained to get information in like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, very short attention spans. So but no, rap was something that men did. They used to spit their game or like rap to women. So rap was a form of almost poetic braggadocio. That was used by men in the urban communities. And they say, let me rap at you, or let me rap to you. And they would lay down their pedigree. Sometimes they really come with it. I got a good job. There's a good scene in Bessie Smith. I think it's the Bessie Smith story with Queen Latifah.
Right.
When the guy comes to her, he goes to her room and he's like, I got this job and that job, and I make this amount of money, and hey, I'm trying to get an audition to be your man, right?
Right, I remember that part.
And that's rapping. That was what rapping was. So when the musical art form that included poetry came out, it also was kind of a toast to that era of, because it involves braggadocio. It involves putting your pedigree down, convincing someone that you have the skills that are required for whatever.
Right.
You see? And so a combination, of that, and then the poetry that comes naturally, for example, rhyming, how rhyming kind of gets to people. It makes it memorable.
Right.
So there was a time where Jesse Jackson ran for president. People might not, young people won't remember that.
I remember Jesse.
But he rhymed during his campaign.
Right.
And those rhymes gave him a chance, because people remember rhymes. That's how, it's one of the ways we teach our children.
Right.
With rhymes.
Yeah.
It sticks in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So rap was something very much different before it became a musical art form. And, you know, we talked about what happened between rap and crack and women and men and the great divide that brought me to do the Punani Poets, because I really felt like with rap being what it was in the beginning, like a form of, you know, expressing yourself, especially to women, and for it to turn against us, for the words to become abrasive and abusive and misogynistic, it that combined with the fact that Eazy-E got AIDS caused me to create the Punani Poets.
Okay.
Right. So yeah,
that's awesome.
That's like
how that all started, like came around. Yeah, because when we were having our discussion earlier today, you were talking about how like rap initially was a form of compliment to women, not only just to brag about what he has,
but
then
you're
also
so fine, I'll drink your bath water.
You know, whereas
and all that
is then you have like gangster rap, I guess,
it shifted.
You know, hoes and bitches, and I got this many and doing this and that. So I'm wondering what collectively that mental shift kind of.
I think in a way it was a sign of the times, as Prince was saying.
Right.
Right, because there have always been addicts in our community and all communities. There have always been problems and issues and things like that. But rap, the music, the poetry and the music, the storytelling of hip hop and of leading up to gangster rap, even revealed things, not just to the Black community, but to the world at large. Private things that my mama or people's grandmamas would have said, you don't go around airing dirty laundry. Right.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
What happens in the house stays in the house. You don't go telling that. And that's, rap music became almost a curse and a gift. Because it gave us the opportunity to express ourselves in a way. For the young men and young women who were involved in the creation of the music, it gave them a voice. It gave them a chance to express the things that were on their hearts. And it was almost therapeutic. Well, it was therapeutic. And so you want to get that out. But what is the industry doing with this information? How do they use this information to shape the community? At a time where, you know, and you can look at the timeline and see that the privatization of prisons aligns with the Just Say No campaign and the mass incarceration of Black men. So you're talking about very private information put on a line for everyone to see, dirty, hanging there. You're talking about young Black men who are, by then we were like the second generation of cocaine in Oakland anyway. And they already don't have dads in their community, but at least for a while, they had strong mothers, and where they didn't have strong mothers, they had strong grandmothers. But we're talking second generation crack. So now they're looking at young boys, looking at their moms doing godforsaken things in alleyways and all of that. And they're literally selling the drugs to their own family members and stuff like that. And so those stories began to circulate, you know, around the world. And for the first time, at least in my lifetime, I'm 51, we saw Black women in a light we had not seen Black women before. Before that, it was almost like it was Medea, who, no matter what, was able to raise her children and rise up in spite of the fact that she didn't have a man, and she was able to, you know, do all of that and praise the Lord at the same time. It was bad. It was very, very bad. So they started saying these things. And at the same time, you got young men who were out here in the streets loving each other on a different level. And what I mean by that is dodging bullets together, defying, you know, danger and saving each other in the streets and really building a camaraderie with one another that women weren't there for. And when they did come for it, it was for the crumbs that fell from their table,
Oh,
basically.
okay.
So they would see girls and they would be like, oh, she just a hoe, she just trying to get my money.
Mhm.
And that narrative made it into the music. So now you got the crackhead mamas and the gold digging daughters.
Right.
And fuck these bitches. Girls
Right.
ain't shit but bitches and hoes and
Right.
all this stuff. And I don't love these hoes and all this other stuff. It amazes me today that people like Ice Cube are able to like redefine themselves, and people don't remember that he is the chief lyricist for NWA.
Right.
He was like very misogynistic
Mhm.
and went on to, I don't know, do children's
He's got
movies.
like kids movies.
He's got kids movies. I'm like,
even
yo,
though that's my birthday twin, but yeah, that was kind of
it's all
up.
good, and I appreciate his campaign and all that stuff. But can a sister get an apology?
Right?
Can we talk about the damage that was done? Because recently,
because even Tupac had that song, "Wonder Why They Call You Bitch," and like all that other stuff.
Because you're making this money. Because you have to understand, before hip hop music, there was no outlet for somebody who was not born with a silver spoon in their mouth, who was not going to go to college and go through all of the, all of the sorry. He was about to bug us all night.
Yeah, he was. I was like, oh my God, where are you going?
Sorry, we had the beach, y'all. So it's
so
So yeah, there was no way. If you were just born fucked up, if your life was just like a challenge, it was going to be by the grace of God and hard work and by the support of your family and your community,
right?
That you would make it up out. But hip hop changed all that. It gave people an opportunity to have something. It like really have something. So when we're talking about Eazy-E, who's the chief reason that I started putting on poets, because he got HIV and eventually AIDS, and we know what happened with that.
Right.
But there was really no way to like make it out until hip hop.
Right.
Women came for it. We came to celebrate that. Okay. So the girls who went and did the rap music videos and all that, we had ass on it. We got ass on the glass. We ready to support you in your shit all the way with what you brought, what you had, which was your lyrics and your stories. But you actually took our stories, put it to a beat, sold it to white people, and we were on the chopping block. But it didn't matter. We were here to support you and what you were doing. And we want to be part of that too. And we're willing to put our titties, our ass, everything on a line to make your music videos pop. Because without females, rap music would have been like kind of a little, a challenge to like really sell to people without the woman. But what do? You turn around, call us bitches and hoes, and act like you don't appreciate it at all. And like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Because around that time when we had, so we're talking about roughly late 80s, the 90s, and everything else so we're going to. So we've got, well, I mean, if we go back further, like at the end of the 70s and the 80s, we have the crack epidemic that comes through. And then the second generation, you have the 90s, you have the NWAs coming out, the Bad Boys, and everybody else coming through. I don't know why I just said Bad Boys, but like you have NWA coming out and all these artists. So as far as like the art of storytelling, I do agree. It's kind of like a double-edged sword because as somebody who's been through something, I want to express myself. But like you said, but at what cost?
At what cost?
At that expression, because like I'm selling this story that actually really happened to me, but it's being circulated to all of these kids in the suburbs that has no idea and concept of what life is like in my city and what I've had to go through. And then now all of a sudden, this has reshaped how the world looks at my community.
It's almost like they assume that you're celebrating pain. We were talking about this earlier. There was an episode that I just caught recently on Blackish where the mom is getting promoted to partner at the hospital. Right. And she's talking to her son's new girlfriend who is in school to be a psychologist. And she's telling her story. Oh, you know, I had to survive this, I had to survive that, and, you know, really just laying it on thick, you know.
Right.
And no matter what strife I had to face, I just charged forward. And even though they called me Dr. Girl at the hospital, I just do my thing. And the young women, because these young people are woke on a whole nother level now.
Right.
So the young girl says, no, what you did is you learned how to accept abuse. You see?
Right.
Black people in America, we are used to turning a lemon into lemonade. It's what we do.
Right.
And rap is indicative of that. So, you know, yeah, it's bad. You had to grow up in a house that was a crack house. It's bad.
Right.
You got molested your whole life, or your mama sold you to pay for addictions and stuff like that. It's very bad. But we didn't have the luxury of having counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists,
right,
or to even have the time to do self-examination,
right,
or to have anyone listen or care, really,
right,
like, or know even how to get those resources. In my school, if you weren't in the gifted and talented education program or something like that, so it had some light shining on you, you were lost in the shuffle. You had to have some type of, you know, gift or talent or something to set you apart from everybody else, to just to have a chance to find out where resources might be.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm from California too. So California, they don't really be fucking with black people like that. Like, it's not like how people think.
Yeah.
It's that fake ass, like, it's racist, but it's the type of racism that
it's like covert almost.
It's nice nasty. My mom used to call it nice nasty. You know, it's like, you're a credit to your race kind of thing.
Right.
Like, oh, you're still, that's how
those backhanded, I think they used to call backhanded compliments. They do stuff like that.
Backhanded compliments.
Yeah, backhanded compliments. So so to circle back, so all of this was going on, and that's what kind of drove you or inspired you to create the Punani Poets and that group there. So what kind of brought that to your mind as far as doing that?
Well, it was a series of stuff, because I saw a trend being set. I was a hip hop entertainment journalist at the time, so I'm interviewing people,
right?
And anybody who was covering hip hop music at the time can attest to what I'm about to say right now. People like Dream Hampton, and you know, just there were a host of hip hop entertainment writers, also, that helped hip hop artists to get the recognition that they needed to get. And there were a host of magazines, music related magazines, and newspapers that were coming up at the same time. You had Rap Pages, Hypno, Roots, 4080. Up at the top, you had Vibe and The Source. It was a lot. Like, rap artists didn't just do it by themselves. It was a lot.
Right.
So as a hip hop entertainment journalist, I'm backstage.
I can only imagine.
I can't even tell you. Plus, you know, I'm from Oakland. I got some friends who are in the music industry. I'll just say this: it was not unusual for like a security guard to just luck up on a blowjob just so a girl could get backstage, just to meet an entertainer. So it was a lot to come up against. As a young hip hop journalist, you got confronted with this all the time. When you want to get this interview, what you gonna do for it, type of thing. It's like, you got me fucked up.
Right.
You know, and you might say you're a journalist, but automatically, if you were a female, they assumed you were a groupie. Why are you here? Why did you choose to do this? If you were a real writer, why are you writing about us?
Right.
And it's like, you know, have some pride. Because I'm trying to, I'm just trying to, you know, get my byline too.
Right.
We all got a byline, you know. So there was that. But the main thing was, besides the fact that I was treated kind of weirdly, you know, sometimes I got a book coming out.
Yes. So
I talk about some of this
a
a little bit in my book, because I'm not going to go into a lot of that right now, but let's
Mhm.
just say the gentleman in
Mhm.
hip hop could be very rude and misogynistic in real life.
Mhm.
So it wasn't just lyrics on a sheet, on a
so
music
they
sheet.
were actually like that.
They could be like that very much, because it's like your mama probably told you, like, if you don't want to be considered a hoe, don't wear the uniform.
Right.
If you don't want to be considered a hoe, don't talk like one, act like one. You got to carry yourself a certain way.
Right.
You know, it's old school philosophies, but it's real as fuck. It's real. It's just real. Which brings me a little bit to recent times, and we could go back to it if you want, but I just want to mention like that.
Okay. Oh, we can't see the comments. Let me
Uh,
make sure I did the comments. Sorry, guys. We even got wrapped up in this conversation.
Actually, before I jump to that, because I won't forget, but I'll just say Megan Thee Stallion. Put that right there.
Okay.
Because we're going to come back to that. But so what made me do Punani Poets specifically is Eazy-E, who I did not know, but who announced that he had AIDS and soon after died. I knew that he had several mothers for his children, several different ones. I knew that at the time it was 1995, I think, and Black women had become 23% of the newly diagnosed AIDS cases in that year. And I knew that before that, AIDS had been considered a gay white male disease. And I'm like, how the fuck did heterosexual women get this disease? But then I realized something. Men were being taken off the street as children, locked up in prisons where they became grown men in jail, and they experienced rape, consensual sex as well. And the one thing that all men definitely have in common is the prostate. So essentially, in case you don't know, men have like a clitoris, ladies, in their ass. Okay, women don't have that. Even though in porn they try to make it seem push like the agenda of anal sex. You might a woman might mentally enjoy anal sex, but guys actually have a little magic button in their butt. I'm like, okay, well, this is science. This is not gay in the traditional sense of, oh, I was born this way and I'm just trying to be free. It wasn't that. Right. It was sexual gratification that once they got out of prison, they wanted to go back to their normal life, but they had been forever changed. It's like if a woman has an orgasm for the very first time, she's forever from getting like head, like actual perfect, like clitoral stimulation. She don't want it no other way. And that's what was happening with men. And I knew that it was a touchy subject. And how was I going to address it? Right. So I borrowed the word punani, which I thought was the most beautiful word for vagina ever. Like that word. Borrowed that from the Jamaican culture. I borrowed the half naked woman from the music videos. I wanted to speak in a language that was familiar to the people I wanted to talk to. Right. Because I want to have a conversation about what sex and sexual fulfillment looks like and how you can be as wild and free as you want to, but ladies, it's time to be safe because look at our numbers climbing. Today, in some communities, we are almost 70% of all of the newly HIV, the newly diagnosed cases in a given year will be mostly Black women, heterosexual Black women, sharing partners and just, you know, how we do. Okay, y'all, I'm going through the change. So
wait, well, go ahead. So Future says hello. Then Levon says, y'all better speak on it. Brothers started the disrespect of Black women with the lyrics and now want to be mad when white people call us out our names. I've never been a hoe to survive in this world. I'm a Black queen no matter. And Levon also says we're sometimes our own worst enemy.
Yes, indeed. And the thing is, there is a thin line. So now I want to jump forward because like all people really have to do to find out more about how hip hop was and how our relationship with our Black men changed is to go back in time, go back to the 70s and look at the lyrics. Look at the song lyrics from the 70s. Go back to the 60s, go back to the 50s, and you will see it changed. It just absolutely talk about changed.
With the versus battle that just happened recently with the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. they had spoke on it very heavily, that the music back then was very complimentary to women. Even with the Isley Brothers, all of their songs, some sexual suggestive, some not, it was always to praise the woman. It was never to put her down and
It's
to
so
be like,
weird that
it was always to exalt her. And so like the music back then was very, now I mean of course there was outliers, that there may have been like a raunchy song here or there, but for the most part it was always about like love and just Black woman, the female form, all of that. And then somewhere we're just like, oh well, now hoes, bitches, and tricks, and you know what I'm saying? Oh, suck a nigga dick or something. Like, then we got all of that now.
Okay. Okay. So I'm a hoe. Why is that a bad thing? Why you don't respect a hoe? Jesus' best friend was a hoe.
Right.
Why? What's up with that? I was a great hoe when you were nutting.
Right.
I was perfect for you then, but then you get in what world is a dude who claims to have sold drugs, stolen cars, beat women, done all these things? In what world is a hoe bad for you?
Right.
In what world?
Right, because in my favorite movie, The Mac, where she said in that scene when they're in the bed, she
everything
said,
you got to know about pimping, you got to learn from me.
That's so, it's like,
hell yeah,
right, that's my favorite movie, and that is like one of those main lines, because I'm like, and he kind of recognizes it too, because this is a man who came from jail,
absolutely,
and was like wanting to get in the game, and she was like, you know,
you don't know nothing about Mac and everything. And that is a very key point. There's another line in the movie that is notable, which is the key to controlling
a woman's body is through her mind.
Yeah.
And you said,
you have to control a woman through her mind. The important thing to note here is that is true in the world in general. It doesn't really, it's not limited to men and women. It's not limited to Black people.
Right.
But since we are talking about our people,
right.
I want to bring up one other hip hop artist who I love a lot. I have a lot of respect for, I should say, and I do not know him. Kanye West. People really came down on him for saying, don't slavery seem like it was a choice? Maybe he had some information that we did not know about. Maybe he didn't frame it right, or maybe he didn't choose the right venue in which to say it. But let me just suggest this. Women are definitely complicit in what happened to us as far as misogyny, because y'all might be too young to remember, but we had C. Dolores Tucker. We had, what was the other lady? C. Dolores Tucker was actually dealing with politicians trying to get, she is the person that got the explicit lyrics label put on the albums, but she was really saying, yo, this is gonna be bad. This is, no good can come from this because there's disrespect here. And I was on the side of freedom of speech. I was young. And I'm like, we know the difference between fact and fiction. Like, I was delusional about how this was going to come out. I was. When the HIV thing, I didn't get nervous until HIV became an issue. And I was like, God damn, this is like an omen from God. It's like God saying, do not devalue your pussy. Or, you know, sex can kill you. I'm like, sex can kill you? I love sex. Like, what? Like, it was so bad for me. I was just like, oh my God. But C. Dolores Tucker, and then there was, she wrote a book called, y'all check this out. It's on YouTube. You can find out about this lady. But the book was called Black Man's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman. And there was a line that she had in there, like, sometimes a Black woman needs an open-handed slap in the mouth. And people were mad. People were mad. But that wasn't the everything about her. But really, she was talking about coming back into being valuable, into valuing yourself and valuing womanhood, and how could you expect somebody to respect you if you didn't respect yourself, and really fundamental core values, trying to really push that. But she was Muslim, so you know it's a lot of Christians out here, whatever, who just, you know, Christianity, the way that it's kind of it kind of became was sort of like cabaret Monday through Saturday, say you sorry on Sunday, and then do the shit all over again.
Right.
No accountability whatsoever in contemporary Christianity. So, you know, that's an issue too. Moving forward, recently, and I had a conversation with a guy I also respect a lot, Michael M. Holter, about he was kind of upset about a performance on an award show.
Oh yeah, so for Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and they performed their song WAP together, and it was all over the news. A lot of people were talking about outlets because they simulated scissoring, and they were basically
they didn't even touch pussy.
They didn't, but I mean, they were just kind of like, oh, this
can
is yeah, you can. So they were simulating, you know, certain sexual acts, and then of course the lyrics and all of that. So it was this, oh my God, our children, like, why are your kids up this late anyway? Watching an award show for a song that they can't even listen to the real version of.
Okay, so they can't, and my thing was, well, they can't celebrate their vaginas, or at least they can't. Yeah, they can't celebrate their vaginas, but we can celebrate men in dresses. Like, wait, like, I'm not going for none of that shit. Like, fuck you. I'm not going for none of that shit. Like, we're already here. Megan Thee Stallion and them didn't invent this.
Yeah,
we're already here. Porn is like the number one thing that's looked at on the internet. We're not delusional about where we are as
even
a
more
society.
so since the pandemic. I saw that report came out.
Right, but at least these type of women, the women that they were representing in that video, are not the type of women to be sex trafficked. They're not, and that really means a lot to say, I'm empowered. I use my vagina the way I want, when I want, give it to whom I want, take it back when I feel like it. I'm owning this right here. Right. It's not for sale. These are my lyrics, my song. It was fine for men when they were singing the songs and we were the dancers in the background.
Right. Cue the tip drill video with Nelly and the famous credit card through the ass cheeks. It's just crazy.
Besides the fact that they're dancing and performing and recording to a song that was beast back in the day, and the whole thing is some hoes in this house, and women didn't write it.
Right.
Men wrote it. I went back to look at some NWA lyrics. I can't even repeat that shit. I don't even have a Punani poem that is anywhere near as graphic as some of those. There is a song, I can't even remember who's on it. I don't even know who's on it, but there is a song where they literally kill a prostitute in their car. Or I don't even know if she's a prostitute. Yeah. It's not even a song. It's an interlude on an album.
On an album.
I got it written down somewhere because I meant to comment on it in my book. I haven't addressed it yet. But yeah, they're like, come here, ho. Like they're telling kids how to talk to these women. Wow. So we're looking at, like, I was in my 20s at the time. So I'm 51 now. So we're talking about 30 years of mental programming. And you don't realize who is funding this.
Right.
Who is funding this? You stood in line to get a deal from a person who has historically oppressed you, and you think they're going to give you an opportunity to say something that is going to uplift your people? Are you out of your fucking mind? No. And every time we get something, we give it away. And that's why I was bringing up Blackish, because there's a moment where she goes to her husband. She said, do you know, after who was in the
which one?
The ball player who Jackie Robinson. She said, you know, after Jackie Robinson broke down the color barriers in baseball, it is still only 7% Black players in baseball. Like, what did he do all that for? And my thing is, that's not even the point. What did he give up?
Right.
The whole Black baseball league was out of commission after that.
Baseball, yeah.
Right? And we do it all the time. Hip hop music, it's not ours anymore. We still claim it, but it's not ours anymore. And it's so many spaces that we have dominated in, but gave away You know, we gave our schools away by demanding
Mm.
that, oh, we need to go to white schools. Do you really think that these thoughts came from Black people? Probably not. Probably they planted Black people, paid certain Black people to push an agenda. Go back to Africa. We're probably not even from Africa, most of us, but they pushed this go back to Africa agenda to hide the fact that most Black Americans are probably native to this land and got you thinking. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm only 51, but the lady that raised me was born in 1923. She never had any memories of her parents or grandparents being in slavery. All she remembered is that they had land and lost the land during sharecropping. You see?
Right. So we got some comments on here. So Ami says that part. She says, hey, pretty. So Levon comes back and says, oh, what was the energy when where was that energy when Madonna and Miley Cyrus was out there doing the exact same thing everywhere? But Meg and Cardi B did it, and it's disgusting. That's the racism that is so frequently happening, which is true because Madonna, like, she kissed. And then also Madonna had another situation where she like kissed Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. So it was the first time. And then the second time it was Madonna and Miley Cyrus. I think Madonna just got a thing for girls for some reason.
Okay, but that's lightweight compared to.
Oh yeah, she said Madonna was slinging WAP back then, and now she's singing old ass WAP.
Not only was she slinging WAP, but there's a video. I don't remember which one, but there's a video where Leon is in that video, and he kills her. I have to look it up, but there's a video. You know Leon, the actor.
Yeah,
he's an actor in one of her music videos, and I think they're messing around. He accidentally kills her or something like that. Like there was a lot of cutting edge, almost racial stuff in there.
Right.
And there was a revolution she was fighting in one song against her father. There was like a lot of rabble rousing, my parents will call it, going on like back then. But they have a right to fight. We obviously don't have a right to fight because I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we want to fight in their arena. We don't want to fight in our own arena. We don't want to have private conversations about what's going on with and between us. We want their approval for everything. Black people are in a love-hate relationship with white America. It's almost like an abused woman who keeps going back.
Or like Stockholm Syndrome.
It's Stockholm Syndrome, or a dumbass hoe who keep going back to her pimp. Like she say, I want my freedom. I don't want to be no hoe no more. And then she keep going back to the pimp talking about she need new shoes or something like that. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want to be free? Be the fuck free. That means you have to also be responsible for yourself. You cannot take welfare. You cannot take none of them motherfucking handouts that they got for you and all that stuff. And I'm sorry, that this is the truth, but this is the fucking truth. You got to be willing to stand on your own 2 feet.
So Levon says, we did that one. So Ami says, white women, little
Michelle!
girls.
Wait, can I just say
yes?
Hi, Michelle. Michelle Brewer right there. Everybody say hello.
Love you.
Michelle Brewer is our original Punani's Pearl.
Yes.
Mother of 4, beautiful dancer who really, really, she put the class on the ass in my show. She did. She put the class on the ass because my thing is this. Like I said, be a hoe. Be the best hoe you could be. Okay? If that's what you want to do. But be your own person. That's how it felt. Megan Thee Stallion and
Cardi B. The other one was with her. Have
changed the conversation, and people are upset because they are in control of their pussy. There's not a man controlling their narrative. It's them saying what they want to say, doing what they want to do, going to the bank on their own, not needing a man. If they want a man, they can have a man. But if they don't choose to have one, they don't need one, and it's offensive to a lot of people.
It puts me in the mind of when Harlem Nights, to bring it back, because we were talking about Richard Pryor earlier, where Della Reese, she was like, I'm an honest hoe, and all my hoes is honest. And I was like, I love that about. I was like, you know what? That's what I'm talking about. Because she said, I'm on this hoe, and all my hoes is on this. And I'll never forget that line ever. Because that's right. Like, I have to own it. Because me and a friend of mine, we had a round conversation because I am, as y'all know, I'm one of those women that are part of the well-endowed crew. And there are certain shirts that kind of show certain parts of the girls, but I don't mind. And I know this happens. I know people will stare at my chest. I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter. But we were going around debating it because they were like, well, why do you wear the shirt? Because you want that attention. I'm like, well, no, I don't necessarily want the attention. I just know I'm going to get it. And their argument was, well, you want the attention because you're wearing the shirt. You know the shirt is going to draw the attention. That's why you put the shirt on.
Or I put the shirt on because I like the shirt and it don't have nothing to do with you.
And that's my point.
And you are putting yourself in my narrative right now.
Right. So
why are you putting yourself in my narrative? I got a whole poem, girl. Oh, I wish I had my book.
Yeah.
I got a whole poem. My titties are not polite.
Right.
It's called Rebel Titties on the Open mic. My titties are not polite. My titties did not come here to make you comfortable.
Right.
If my titties disrupt this atmosphere of your open mic, you need to check yourself and find out why you're uncomfortable with breasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Because we're not put here for other people to determine our lives. We are all, as I learned from the beautiful Ami, who I see on here.
Yes.
Ami, I want to thank you for the gift of bringing yoga and the knowledge of self and what heaven is, the elevation you talk about with your kidney beam and everything that you have taught us over the last 2 years. I want to thank you. I want to encourage everybody, please check out Ami on her show,
Saturdays.
which is on Saturdays here on Coffee Talk Radio, because it is enlightenment. It is the understanding that what if Jesus was really a yogi? What if he wasn't talking about dying and leaving this earth and going to some pie in the sky type of heaven with the streets paved with gold and stuff? What if he was talking about, in the course of your life, going through the chakras? When we're young, we vibrate with our pussies, okay? Because that's the nature of humans, to procreate and all that stuff. As you get older, as I said again, I'm 51, okay? Right? As you get older, you'll notice like a lot of women, start to calm down as they get older. Yeah. Right. And it's because you go higher and higher up. At a certain point, like you're vibrating here and your solar plexus, that's where your nerves and everything, it starts to warn you about stuff. You start to notice when you're younger and you're just vibrating all down here, you just go for the gusto, whatever it is, you just feeling good, you drinking, you partying, you doing everything. Once you get to your solar plex area, you start to sense danger a little bit more. You start to, and this is just my ghetto interpretation. What I got from what I can tell you really like in scientific terms and esoteric kind of terms as well. But I was following like the course of my life. And how I didn't do HBO until I was 29 and I was a mom. So I was more responsible with my sexuality. But if you read Pussy Willow, you will find out I was not always responsible with my vagina at all. So I'm not at all standing on a soapbox telling y'all what y'all should and should not do. We all, as the Bible says, have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But the glory of God is you. The glory of God is in you. The glory that you will get to someday when your kidney elevates you to that place. And I did that shit for me. When your kidney beams you up to the place where you are no longer controlled by the flesh, you are no longer controlled by other people's emotions or other people's energies. You're past that because you've gotten past your solar plexus. You vibrating with the heart chakra. At a certain point, you giving out love, you receiving love, you're rejecting evil, you pushing all the bad energy away. And this happens like, I don't know, I'm 51, I haven't gotten here yet. As Ami was saying, like it takes a long time to get here to your crown chakra where you're really vibrating on a higher level. But what if Jesus was a yogi? because he wasn't supposed to be sexually active and all that stuff. Maybe he surpassed all that stuff and got to this place very early on in his teachings and wanted to spread that message that the temple is your body. And you can decide what is traded there.
Right.
Or if anything is traded there.
Right.
If anything is for sale in your courtyard.
Right.
In the courtyard of your temple.
Right.
Is there anything for sale? And what are you selling? You know?
Right. So we had a couple of comments. I was trying to read them. So Jennifer Harris says, I've been a fan since I seen Punani Poets on Real Sex. I got so much to say about it, but I won't. You made me more comfortable in my sexuality. I'm 44. So Antonio L. Mueller says, Like a Prayer was the video when we were talking about.
Thank you for that.
So let's say,
Like a Prayer.
Yeah.
Ask him to tell us what happened because I was a little rusty on that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So if you could respond what that was about. Trini T says hello. Ami says the music keeps us vibrating on a lower level, which is very true. And she also says he spent the time he was missing in India with the Black folks.
That's what I thought.
And then Mary Williams says, Amen. You're so right. So when you, to kind of bring it back full circle, it was a good tangent because I like that. So all of this, and then you were like, I need to get this message out because women, we are, you know what I'm saying? We're, you know, basically.
Let me just interject here. I needed to get it out, but I knew we had to be delicate with the message.
Right.
We had to embrace the women who were sexually open and not push away the women who were completely Christian. It's a very delicate balance.
Line.
Even bringing on me, I was worried at first because I thought people might think we were on some old next level weird
like
spacey stuff and bringing Nikki Morgan. You know, maybe that was too over the top, and maybe, you know, but by balancing the women, like one thing Michelle will tell you, I miss you, honey. One thing Michelle will tell you is people watched her dance, watched her do the pearl trick. She the person that brought the pearl trick to the Punani Poets and got them, all the dancers are named Punani Pearl now because of her. But they would watch her do the dances, watch her tight body and all her what you call these?
Oh, like her abs.
The abs and shit. Oh my God, because she do that shit upside down on the chair. It was beautiful. Then afterwards, I made a point of telling them the mother of not one, not two, not three, but 4 children. Put your hands together for Michelle Brewer, Punani's Pearl.
Right.
And they will go fucking wild to know, oh my God, she did all this and she got 4 children. How did she even get her body to do snap back like that? Like that was something. So I say that to say I tried to let the audience know every woman on this stage represents somebody in this room. This is a conversation that women are having by and between ourselves. If we have invited our husbands here, it is so they can get to know us better.
Right.
Okay. So this is not, we're not islands. We're all, as Ami will tell you, interconnected, like through our energetic force fields. This is why, ladies, when somebody walks into a room, and they got an attitude or something, you could feel it. Yeah. Is because it's an actual physical connection. I didn't really ever, understand it in scientific terms until I talked to Ami about it. I really learned a lot over 2 years. Then we had Nikki Morgan. It's the change, y'all. Get ready.
Oh, George Graves says, "Hey, Jessica and the host. Sorry, I don't know your name. That's okay.
That's
Brittany, Lady Poetry." And it says, "Love the conversation." Antoine says, "Jessica, my friend, it's just great to see you." And he said, "The video, Leon,
Antoine, my prom date. Antoine was my prom date."
It says Leon was falsely accused of killing Madonna in the video. And it says, yep. And then Ami says the vibration is strong. Let's talk about it. So about that. Yeah. So thank you.
And then, anyway, for us, for Punani Poets, I was just like I said, hip hop entertainment journalist. I had been very deeply Christian. If anybody's familiar with my work, you will know I would like Antoine. I was called to preach when I was 12. Wow. My father molested me Then I was raped when I was 15. I talk about this stuff in my book. I don't talk about it in the show because nobody comes to point I need to get depressed. Right. But I was raped when I was 15, kind of like trapped in this apartment with this guy. Most women in Punani Project, most women probably in the world have experienced some form of abuse. But for our project, it tends to draw women who are working on some old thing. Like I said, when you pour, it's only so many things you can have access to, right? So we didn't have access to counseling, things like that. You use the power of your pen to save your life over and over and over again as a writer. Probably a musician too, like through your music or whatever talents that you have. You know, you have to use what you have to get what you want. Right. And so I wanted Punani Project to save other people the way it saved me. Because I spent years depressed and just self-defeatist, you know, just constantly doing things to, I don't know, like prove to myself that my life was fucked up. What is that? Like, I'm trying to prove to myself my shit fucked up because what? And I'm making these choices though. Like I'm making these choices, choosing to do things that I felt sorry about. Because I felt a certain amount of comfort. It was almost a certain nostalgia. I loved.
Comments. So Jennifer Harris says, I was so damn sexy. The visual, the inciting mental words. We as women need all of that, and you brought it to a deeper level. Ashley says, she has some faces. Ami says it's 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 3 boys have been violated by an adult. And Tony says, still flyest prom pic ever. And Michelle Smith says, she says, I'm a witness. I didn't me until the Punani poets introduced me to me. I didn't know me until Punani poets introduced me.
Thank you for that, Michelle. Thank you for that. Because I really feel like women, we have to take care of each other. We have to, it's not just about your own children, it's about the whole community. At some point in our history, we knew that. And then somewhere we lost it, somewhere around crack, probably. We lost it and didn't really understand our responsibility to each other. For any woman who is sitting around waiting for a man to save you, honey, don't. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not man bashing or man hating or anything. I love men. And men, we don't man bash in our show or anything like that. It's about creating conversation, you know, between us. But men and women speak different languages.
Absolutely.
Right? We vibrate on a different energy level. I think maybe we are nurturers and they're like providers and warriors. And a lot of the opportunity to be a warrior, especially for Black men, has been taken away. So what do they?
And it's communication styles too. Women, we tend to communicate with our feelings. So we use those I feel, I think statements where, in my experience, men are kind of just like, I don't need feelings, I need facts. Tell me, just get right to it. Say what it is that you got to say. I don't need the extra fluff.
I'm feeling just like you're a stud right now.
I mean, I got a little, you know, but for real, like, and because I was
I don't need your feelings. I need facts. I like that.
Yeah, like, because I was talking to a friend of mine and she, at work, she's dealing with some issues. There's a woman at her job that's fucking with her, but their boss is a man. And I was trying to tell her, I said, you can't go to that man and be like, well, she makes me feel like I'm this and she's doing this to me and this and da-da-da. You can't go to him like that because he's going to look at you and be like, well, I don't care.
Do you think it's because they really don't feel it?
I just don't think their brain is wired
I mean, can they actually
feel
our pain?
I just think maybe their brain is not wired to.
She said, and we communicate with our art. And, and I'm half lesbian too. Top half.
The top half. So I just feel like with just how they understand and process knowledge and information, it just, again, in my experience, I'm not going to say this is all men, they're very much fact-based. Like, I need meat and potatoes and stuff. Tell me exactly what it is that you need, what you want, and I will let you know whether I can do it. Whereas the woman is more so, well, I feel like this, or what about this? And it's very much more of a fluid way of speaking. So I think that may be the reason why.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. We're talking about storytelling.
Right, storytelling.
All this really does come down to storytelling, because what stories have you been telling to yourself? What stories have you been telling to your children? Let's say you have children who are rude or disrespectful. Maybe they don't know you. Maybe they don't know what you've been through. Maybe you haven't told them the stories they need to hear. And don't be ashamed either, because fuck, there's the internet. Like, they know everything. They know stuff about stuff you might never know just because of the internet. So please just talk to your children, and that will help, especially your daughters. But the stories that my mama used to tell me were so like, Antoine, the stories my mama used to tell me, you met us on it. The stories were like parables from the Bible. It was like she was, and I do it to Dawn all the time. I mean, like, she'd be like, oh God, and then with another parable. I'm like, but my mama used to tell stories like, there was a guy who was on a train, and slavery was over, and he was headed up north, and he was in an all-white suit because he was so happy that he was free and he was about to live his whole new life.
Right.
And he on the train, and he riding on the train, and a white man come and reach over and get a little bed bug off his shoulder, little bed bug. And he said, man, what you doing? He said, oh, I just want to get the bed bug off your suit. He said, put it back. Put the fucking bed bug back on my shoulder. White folks can't stand to see us have nothing.
That's deep. That's deep. Oh, we got a comment. So George Graves says, I was called to preach as well, but because of me being gay, I felt the church promoted self-hatred. I had low self-esteem to the point of a twice failed suicide attempt. Thanks for sharing. And then Michelle says, my kids are Punani kids, Punani poet kids, no secrets. And then Ami says, ha ha ha, at the end of the story.
That's deep, because like, it's real.
White folks can't have nothing.
White folks can't stand to see us have. Now give me my bed bugs back.
Right.
And this is the energy with which, at least in your 30s, you should be rolling with the energy of, this is mine. I built this. This is my house, which is what I think Megan and I keep forgetting. Oh,
Cardi B. Yeah.
Cardi B and Megan were doing with that. This is my house. I built this house. And maybe I built it with my Punani, but it's my house.
Yeah.
You know, why is Punani only great when I am servicing you with it? Why is Punani only great when I am submissive and you are on top? Right. We got a whole chapter in verbal penetration about woman on top positions, in case you're interested.
Be sure and get that. Because definitely we have the shows coming up, so we're definitely going to be sharing that. But to bring it back to like Megan Thee Stallion, and Ashley says, she's like, can't even have a bed bug. That was deep. Right.
Can't even have a bed bug.
I think the attraction and allure for Megan Thee Stallion in particular, not to say that other female rappers are not doing this, but Megan Thee Stallion, if you listen to some of her lyrics, she is saying the same raunchy, give me head, fuck me, suck me, all of this that the men are saying, but it is from a woman's perspective. And she's basically saying, oh, well, nigga, you ain't shit, but this, and that. And that's why I think they get all these rumors about her. They do all these things to kind of tear her down, because she's literally doing what the men are doing, and they don't like it.
I feel like she was prepared for it. I feel like I saw some interviews. I feel like they're fine. These women are fine. They know what they're doing. They, hopefully no one in their lives, the only people probably who could tear them down is somebody that they love and respect, that on a personal level, who is not on board, who may, do whatever. If y'all get the chance, y'all want to hear a story?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Some shit, COVID allowed me to find out things
Mhm.
that I didn't know about. Okay, so I mentioned Kanye West earlier.
Mhm.
First, let's address the elephant in the room, which is his wife built her career
Off of sex.
off a sex tape. Come on now.
Yeah.
How quickly they forget. And it was
Right.
a horrible sex tape. She didn't let us see her nipples. She gave the worst blowjob I have ever seen in my fucking life. Adina Howard, I got a chance to interview. Who
Yeah,
said
it says
Adina?
Jennifer Harris says Adina Howard was the first to come out with the boys on the sexual freedom of women. Yes, definitely. I want to freak in the morning, freak in the evening, freak like me. I love
Freak like
Adina.
me. I interviewed
yes.
her. I'm hoping I could get her on your show.
I would love
Maybe
to have
she'll
Adina,
remember
yeah.
me and we could get her on your show too. Definitely a phenomenon of the time. Definitely.
Oh,
I have better sex
better sex than that. Well,
Okay.
right. She's talking about on the tape.
On the tape. Oh my God, it was so bad. If
I didn't watch
I
it, but I was just like, I heard it was horrible though. Like
it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad.
But just the fact it was Ray J, everybody was just circulating it. But
she said, no, not the nipples. Like whoever was filming, she's talking to the camera person saying, "Don't show my nipples."
Oh, I didn't even know it was a camera person. I thought they just had it hooked up somewhere.
No.
Oh, so it was like a full production.
Yes.
I didn't know that. This whole time I was
today.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
It was probably her mom.
But
It
hello.
was probably Kris Jenner who fucked.
Hey man.
Don't quote me on that. Hey,
Pimpin' ain't
YouTube,
easy.
don't give me YouTube. Allegedly, all of that. Kris Jenner.
We're not gonna talk about all the pimpin' mamas out here. Okay?
No.
Oakland got a whole case.
Yeah.
A whole
Kris
case.
Jenner, you a girl. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that to me. But what is that?
She said
the one with Ray
J. Oh my God. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she did.
She didn't even
have a fatty.
Oh, she
did have a fatty.
Her vagina was definitely celebrity pussy.
Okay.
Like it was nice. But it was whack. It was not good. It was not sex, like hardcore sex or whatever. But anyway. Her husband, when he came out and said maybe slavery was a choice, you know, he took a lot of shit for that, and he just kind of left it alone. And I don't know why he left it alone. Maybe he was advised to leave it alone.
Probably.
But COVID has definitely opened some eyes, and I would advise everyone to please check out I'm Just Here to Make You Think, Dan Calloway. He is a researcher who has made me a believer for real about how there has been a narrative created for us to believe. And I'm going to tell you why. I did not know anything about slavery until the movie Roots came out. It wasn't taught in school. It was not taught to me in school about slavery. When we saw Africans on TV, that we only saw them on Tarzan. When we saw Indians on TV, it was white men in makeup.
Brown, yeah.
Right? So we had an idea in our heads about what Indians look like based on what we saw on TV. Right. Television has programmed us to believe a lot of things. What you see in video, it really programs us a lot to believe a certain thing. And for people who do not read, that's why reading is fundamental.
Absolutely.
For people who do not read, they could tell you any fucking thing. You got to read it for yourself. It's an app now that'll read for you.
Right.
If you don't want to read.
Right.
It's
get you
audiobooks and everything.
Kindle, get you some.
Speaking of that, do you know Simon & Schuster has some white girl reading my novel?
No, really?
Yeah.
They have a white woman
reading my novel. I got a novel called The Punani Experience, The War Between Tops and Bottoms, that actually addresses the prostate thing, and it's very hot shit.
You have to get it for me. Be sure to get it.
But they got some girl, like, I was so offended because they didn't ask me to read it, and this is like literally what I do.
Right.
But anyway,
I had to comment. Ashley says, I still haven't seen Roots. Movies like that make me angry towards white people. Ami said, let's talk about how was that Kanye bought 300 acres
in Wyoming
and is now getting that divorce. She said, oh my God, the blasphemy. And Tony says the one with the pen controls the narrative. That's why you've got to control your narrative.
Absolutely.
There is an African proverb that I heard that it says until the lion has the pen, the hunter will always be the hero.
Ooh.
And I was like, damn, that's like deep. Like
the lion to right is what I said.
Like it says, and I was, it said learns. Oh, no, and not the pen. It says until the lion learns to speak. That's what it is.
Oh,
until the lion learns to speak, the hunter will always remain the hero. And I was like, God,
still,
like
so this is why the lions in our community need to be empowered with the authority, the ability, and the authority to speak the truth we want them to have. So look at this. Just look at it like this. Let's say there was some type of revolution to happen. All of our most powerful men, all of our ball players are under contract.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Our politicians bought and sold.
Absolutely.
Who are you going to trust? Who's going to be on the front lines for you?
Ben Crumb.
Who's gonna be on the front line?
Big Crumb. I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
Nobody.
That's all I'm saying.
Dr. Lamar Johnson, maybe. I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. You can't even.
Charlamagne the God probably.
Antoine, no offense. Wait, what does he say?
That was when he said the pen controls the narrative. Michelle says, I need you to sign it. Ami said, why didn't they have me read it? They know I yo bitch. And George Grave says, deep.
Michelle, I will sign your ass if you want me to. I love you. I do.
Wow.
We have given away all our power. We literally fought to get into their schools and have them teach us what they wanted us to know, his story. We rejected our own schools in our own communities, and we still do it today because half of us don't want something unless the white man hasn't said it's good. Right? We'll literally walk around, not us, but our people will literally walk around tattooed and wearing the labels of brands that have openly rejected a connection with us. For example, Nike. Recently, I don't know how they're getting away with this, but Nike brand is on a shoe that this little rapper, Lil Nas X, put out a shoe. It's got a devilment all over it. Antoine, I don't know if you know about this, but it's got the pentagram. It's got all this stuff. It's got human blood in the fucking shoe. It says Nike right on the front. I can't imagine that they would put a shoe out that says Nike unless they got approval from Nike. But all of a sudden,
no, they did without approval from Nike.
That is not even possible. There's no way.
Nike is actually suing them.
Nike is lying. I'm gonna tell you right now, Nike's a fucking lie. Nike might have signed off and then changed their mind, but there is no fucking way anyone is going to even how they get the graphic.
Because it's a Nike shoe that they custom.
There's no way. They are fucking lying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there is something called fiction of law that y'all should all look up. It is the legal right to make up a story to defend your legal case. It's called fiction of law. Look on your cell phone right now. See if I'm lying. Yeah, they can make shit up whenever they want to. All of this shit is made up. Anyway, money is made up. Everything is made up. For anybody who has been on any personal searches, I recently got my DNA done, which is a whole different interview. But speaking of stories, if you go on ancestry.com, you'll find actual historical stories told through a series of government documents. So maybe they weren't expecting this day to ever come. So a lot of stuff stayed on record. You will find out that what Dan Calloway says is true in a lot of cases. So I have a great grandfather who was white in 1840. He was mulatto. I'm talking about on the census report. He was white in 1840. He was mulatto in 1850 and he was Black in 1860. And once he figured everything out, he was white the rest of the time.
Wow.
Because he figured it out. He like, wait a minute. Maybe they started letting people say, but if you allow them to write down what they want to write, they're going to write what they want to write. You have to, as Antoine said, write your own story.
He says.
He said he's familiar
with mask wearing, fools need to get name branded. Then he says quite familiar with the Nas X. Ami says tell him. Hey Renee Nicole, she's
Nike's a fucking lie.
Yeah,
see, Alani Renee. Hey Alani.
So we're definitely gonna talk about her too. Jennifer says we come from a different generation. These kids today are social media buffs. In my opinion, this generation is weak. Alani Renee Nicole says she's a princess. And Michelle Brunner says, I'm on it because I did 23andMe.
Michelle, you are definitely you look like, and I've seen the Brewer name a lot on Ancestry, and you kind of look like my wife, actually. And I think y'all Native American. I just do. It's something about the gait, the look that just makes me think, Africa, probably not. And even in mine, it says you have to go to the page where they give the breakdown of your ancestry. And mine says Africa, but when I really look, and you look at the actual, I don't know, amounts that they captured the percentages that point to a certain, I'll show you when we get off. It says not detected, not detected, not detected, not detected. They just say Ghanaian and Nigerian, which I feel in my soul because I feel hella Black in my heart and my soul. But some of it is fake. Some of it is just, there you go. Yeah, that right there. Look how they're demonizing Black men at this point. You see that shit? Yeah. Put that up again, please. Let's evaluate this. Not to mention, they're putting them in dresses. In the video, if y'all haven't seen it, this young Black man, beautiful Black man, is sliding on a stripper pole from heaven into hell and does a lap dance on the devil.
On the CGI
Snaps
devil.
The devil's neck and puts on the crown of horns. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I don't even want to sound like a religious fanatic or anything. It's not even about that. It's about the optics.
Yeah, the way it looks. Well, I think he did that on purpose. So George Graves says, wow, just looked up fiction of law. My research is on now.
See?
Michelle Brewer says, they said I was 37% European. Ami Brown says, you so Black.
I'm so Black.
Michelle Brewer says, I hate it and I can't unsee it.
Damn. Sorry, boo. Because you know what? They did a lot of race mixing. So if you look at what's very interesting to me is they say Native Americans died of smallpox from poison blankets, whatever. 1924, they passed a law called the Racial Integrity Act. And under that law, it was basically the one drop law that they talk about. Under that law, it didn't matter how much Black you had in you. It could be one drop or 100 drops. You were just considered Black. What that did is if you were Hispanic, if you were whatever you were, as long as you weren't white, you were considered Black. You see? And so by this, they were able to turn people who were actually native to this land, some of which were Black people, most of which were people of color.
Right.
They were able to, first they called you colored. Right. Then they just kept changing it and changing it and changing it. And we got on board every time. Yeah, we want to be Negro. Yeah, we want to be Black. We perpetuated this. We are always at the center of this conversation. So when I hear Kanye West say that, I understand. If you get a chance to check out Dane Calloway and I'm Just Here to Make You Think, I think his website is I'm Just Here to Make You Think.com, but he's on YouTube. If you get a chance to check him out, then you'll see where we at what moments in time we became complicit, and who was our leader
at the time
to guide us into that. Because the Oklahoma tragedy didn't happen until Black people went there to report on it and say, oh, there are thousands of Black families prospering. And then all of a sudden there's a situation in the elevator and it gets bombed from the sky.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to look at these people. You got to look at Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition. You got to look at the dude with the perm. What's his name?
Oh, Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
Got to look. Every time these motherfuckers want to come up and start a protest, you got to look. You believe right now, you probably believe that Rosa Parks is the reason the bus boycott started.
No.
But it is not. And do your research and you'll find out there's always some organized, if it gets out to the masses, there is some white person pushing that agenda, and there's a reason that they're pushing that agenda.
So Kwame says Al Sharpton is a known informant.
Yes, he is.
And then he
admitted
says, it's also helped some of the Native nations expel their descendants of Blacks from their nations and not to have any part of anything or profit from them.
And calling yourself African American, sorry to cut you off, but calling yourself African American is almost admitting you don't belong here, that you came from some other country. You are literally giving up your birthright, even by using the term African American. We haven't gotten this far, you know, in our understanding of what's happening right now, but I imagine in the next few years, hopefully, you know, we're still around to see it,
right?
You know, the revolution for what it really is, and the revolution doesn't have to be televised. If it's in your heart, you'll understand. You can vote all day long. You can vote. A lot of people think that Black people couldn't vote until 1960 something.
Really?
Not true.
No, they could vote.
Black men could vote.
Yeah.
Black men got intimidated into not voting, but Black men could vote before white women could vote. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real. But if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody is going to stand up for you. Nobody's going to trust you if you don't trust yourself. Period. You keep going to your pimp looking for shoes. This is what it is. So, you know.
Ami says, to go back to the bus boycott, she said it was a 15-year-old pregnant teenager, and she was not a good face for the movement. And I have researched that, and I did read that or whatever. They decided not to.
Because she was cussing. She was like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm going to sit where I want to sit and everything. She's still alive, I think, in New York. Yeah. And Michelle says, thank you. I refuse and correct people when they call me African American. And then Kwame says, we gave up our birthright by adopting the use of a social security number as well. That part.
Michelle says, can you give my sister Unique KP a taste of Jessica? I made, what does it say? I made he get on.
Oh, you want me to spit?
Oh, yes. So yeah, we do have poetry.
Yes,
so we do have poetry. We kind of got off. So, but
do you want to do a commercial?
Oh,
are you still on live with my phone on Facebook?
I got both of them.
Okay. Yeah. So we were. I mean,
okay.
This always happens whenever Jessica and I get in the same room together. We always have these conversations, and that's why, like, I appreciate this woman so much, because every time I learn something new and enjoy the conversations that we have. Even though we did run on the tangent, we're still on the storytelling. We're still on the rap.
It's just like putting the pieces of our puzzle together and understanding that we haven't been telling our own story.
Right.
And that's what's been messing me up. Like, this COVID has been a blessing for me anyway, on so many levels.
Because we have to adopt that idea of how you going to tell me about me. I should have just did that.
Okay, so I want to spit.
Yes, please.
And you know, it's because I'm gonna do this piece because I just really feel it right now because of the energy that we've been having, and just thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Absolutely. Because We didn't even expect it to get this
Right.
deep. We were going to try to keep it on like a poetry level and that type of stuff, but there's so much going on right now. Like,
Yes, so we're going to this as well as Coffee Talk Radio. We're definitely going to be talking about these types of topics more. So we're going to have a part 2 to this, definitely.
I want my mouth to speak nothing but praise when speaking of you, my beautiful Black Messiah. I want to be the key to the rusty cage that imprisons Black love. Use me. I want to love you as I love my own hands, with necessity, with appreciation, with respect. In the bedroom, in the boardroom, in the street, and at the table, give you respectable representation, expecting only truth of you and never fearing it. I want to be a queen who makes you proud too. One who makes you understand that making love to me is among your most noble deeds. In me, your seed is not wasted, but savored and manifested before it is measured and devoured, broken down and regenerated on my tongue and through my womb in the game of your school as historic files of your pedigree. I want to work out the kinks of my trying childhood socialization and inferior education with you. Share fantasies and dreams. Make plans to follow through, verbally arrest you before working the kinks back into our hair, lay down and cool in our sweat. I want to be the chant in your railroad song and go the distance of the track with you, like the Panthers insist, like Montgomery bus strikers persist in the taking of our destiny into our own hands. I want to be the revolution in your black fist. I want to be the revolution in your black fist.
Yes. I love that piece so much. Like I said, every time I hear it, I get something new. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, we kind of went through it. We was going through our thing.
So
we kind of got lost in the sauce, but it was such a good, necessary topic. Thank you everybody who commented and everything else. So just because you do have a few things that are coming up, so we want to make sure that everybody tunes into the website.
After a horrible deal that I did with Zane, I regret. I finally found a new agent, and I'm working on a publishing deal, and I have 2 books coming out.
Yes.
One is called Pussy Willow. Shouts to Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Pussy Willow, which is part poetry, part tell-all, and a new novel called Bid Whist.
Yes, and I'm super excited about this novel because she told me a little bit about it.
It's so exciting.
I'm ready to read it.
It was hard to write. It was hard to write because sometimes women, you got to get rid of them demons in your life, even if those demons are your children.
Yeah.
So it was a very difficult book to write, but I'm on page 200 or something, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I may post a couple chapters for y'all to read if you're interested. You can find us on punanitv.com. Find the Punani Poets on punanitv.com. Michelle, I'm going to be posting your Pearl video there shortly. But Punani, Punany, TV.com. For other episodes of this show, you can find us at coffeetalkradio.com.
And Ashley asked, where can I find the other books? I need to catch up.
Amazon.
So verbal, that and verbal penetration, Jessica actually has. So Ashley, you'll be able to order that.
Yep. Or you see me on here. She has some copies too.
Yes. So you can order directly. So if you message Jessica or whatever, we'll make sure that you can message myself. We'll make sure that you get the book.
If you get it from us, we can autograph it, personalize it for you, or whatever. But we have like 200 copies in the garage. Please help me sell the ones in my garage, just because I need to show Simon & Schuster that they're all gone.
Right.
They were out of stock officially years ago, and I find out that they're still keeping my book in the warehouse and selling it at full price on Amazon. So I was able to buy these books to make them available to y'all with the autograph and everything. So yes, you can find me personally at jessicaholter.com. Almost everything points to that store. It's a
Right.
Shopify store, but jessicaholter.com if you want personalized copies of Feral Penetration.
Yes, yes. And so the tour will be coming up too. So we have some dates. So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll make sure to put these on the shows for all the Punani Poet shows that'll be coming out. So stay tuned on that.
And definitely, we got to meet Ami
yes.
and the kidney bean.
Yes, that is the next one.
When I tell you, man, learn more about your temple,
mm-hmm.
your body, your power. I got stronger because of you. I stepped into a different level of my power. I was a mouthpiece for a long time, but now I know I'm a whole body with energy force field, that I have support from my whole team, all running through me like I'm a fucking cannon. Ooh.
So
with big
yes.
titties, like.
So yes, Ami will definitely, the next time when Ami is around again, wherever we meet you, either in Atlanta or wherever, we're definitely gonna have.
We were
show.
on the beach today thinking about you, Ami.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to do something on the beach. So I don't know if they have.
Ami's show is on Saturday morning, well afternoon. So it's 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Mm-hmm. So it is in the morning on Saturdays. So you'll definitely be able to tune in. Like I said, it's an amazing way to start your weekend. We are being told to wrap up. So
we are. Just one more thing. You want to tell them about your aunt?
Oh yeah, so like my little thing. So my friend, she does the little nose cuffs. So you can't really see it, but it's actually an ankh shape. So it is on Etsy, and she's gonna kill me because I don't remember it. But I will definitely make sure to put it in the comments so you guys can support everything else like that. So again,
support Black business.
Yes.
Stop selling your whole soul. Don't sell your whole soul.
No.
To the white folks. They're not gonna do no good with it. I mean, you know, we have great stars like Michael Jackson and Prince and stuff, and then they smear their names in the press and tear their legacies apart. Mm. Love yourself, support your community, depend on yourself. Mm-hmm. Depend on your own community. Stop selling yourself out.
Yes.
To your enemy. It's ridiculous. Was slavery a choice? I don't know, but it is right now.
Right.
I love y'all.
Right. Thank you so much, everyone, again. We're going to head on out, and we will see you next Friday. So remember, Thursdays, it is the Coffee Talk Radio. Fridays is the Poetic Soul Artistry, as well as the ATL Mix. And Saturdays is always the Kidney Bean with Miss Ami Brown. So definitely stay tuned, and be sure to check everything out. Bye. That was such awesome show.
That was so good. We got to do it more often.
Yes, we definitely.
You know, I'm only going to come on here